We're also looking to see if there was even one available. I didn't know if they even made them anymore. Okay. Yes. Okay. And is the payment plan there was a payment opportunity, or I guess to put it on credit if we were going with the whole unit, is that still an option for payment? Yeah, whatever. It was on the whatever. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I didn't know if it was an option or not. And then, so they do still make it, or is there available for
Where's my drink? Good afternoon, and welcome to the studio, everybody. What are we doing over here? I had something I could poke the camera with to get that fixed. Let's see what we got here. That's better. Okay. The tool that fixes everything, hit it with a stick. So welcome everybody, good afternoon. I'm on a little bit later today. We've just had like 15 things going on. We have no AC at the house, so we've had people coming to look at that, which we're apparently going to have no AC for a couple of weeks. So that's always fun as we come into spring and summer in the South. And we're getting ready for our next show. I've got a little bit of stuff to put together still, and then we're going to let things dry out. I'm going to start, we're going to continue to work on getting things ready for a bisque so we can get everything processed in the kiln. So we've got a lot of stuff that's dried out, but these are going to be our sweater mugs. So there's Minnie. And to put together the sweater mugs, so this is a regular mug that we've put together. So it's a regular mug that's been thrown, and I've got this texture that we've put on here that looks like it is a knit sweater. And you can see kind of right there where like how thick this texture is that's on the mug. What I want to do is make a kind of like twisted cable design that's going to go around the rim here, and then we're going to give it a handle, and we're going to give it some buttons to kind of accent. Instead of trying to smooth out the seam where I wrap the texture around the piece, we're going to put buttons there to highlight it and make it look like, you know, it's supposed to be that way. And to make my cable texture, I've got this itty bitty extruder that has a little die in it that's like 3 coils. We're going to do that. So make this a little bit thinner. But I hope everybody's had a good weekend. Comfy Academia Craft. Making sure I was saying your name correctly. Now I may need a bit of a wider work area for this, but let's see how it works. It might be okay, because what I've got here now is, you know, this piece of clay that's like 3 coils put together, and so I can give it a bit of a twist. And be careful not to just break it in two. Here we go. And I have a cable here, and now I'm going to put some slip on this one. Hey, Minnie. She's like, what are you doing? And then I gotta be careful, like this, it's not like so goopy soft that just touching the mug is going to like squish the knit texture, but I do have to be careful. And then we're gonna wrap this around the top part. That slip is. And Minnie's coming to taste test everything. It's always appreciated. Let me give that a bit more of a twist. Okay, so now we've got this little cable here that kind of tops off the sweater texture. I'm going to take some of that away where I'm going to attach the handle. And then I have my handles. They're the same handles we put on the regular mugs. And then everything does still get the cat stamp of approval. So it's a very, very important step here. So I'm going to put some slip there and at the bottom. Make sure we're all attached here. Remember, very important step here. And then we have a sweater mug that is almost done. And so the buttons are very simple things. They are just little beads of clay. And then I've got, where's my rubber tool? There it is. This is probably one of the oldest tools that I have. It is a, it's actually a painting tool. It's like a rubber, not chisel, but just like a thing that you can, instead of a palette knife, you can get like these different rubber tips to move the paint around on a canvas or whatever. But they are really fun clay tools. I think I'm going to bring my slip bucket over here and see if I could just put a little bit of a bead right there. And so I'm not going for like super realism here. I'm going for just for very stylized look. And so here we have a sweater mug. I'm gonna kind of smooth out the bottom of that texture so it's not sharp. But there is our sweater mug. And they will just get to dry out like everything else, and it will get solid colors. Put you right there. But I've got 10 of these to finish up. Getting the sweater texture on here is usually the trickier part that is more contingent on timing, because you want the mug to be still fairly soft when you put this texture on so that it doesn't crack. So I did that last night. Where did my extruder go? There it is. But I hope everybody had a good weekend. Did we do anything special this weekend? We went to a concert. We went to a cake concert, thus my cake shirt. Down in Nashville. It was at the amphitheater, so we were like put off getting tickets until we knew that it wasn't going to rain. But it was a very good concert. A very good concert. there's a little, you can see the white kind of powder that's on here. That is actually cornstarch. Cornstarch is a very good release agent. It is, non-toxic, and it is, you don't need a ton of it. It's just a little bit to keep it keep the clay from sticking to the rubber stamp, which we use to make the texture. The only thing I will say about cornstarch is that it makes things stink to high heaven. Like when in the reclaim, I guess because of the organic nature of the material, it is, it breaks down pretty quick. Did I just bump into that? There's that. Make sure I've got all the way around. So I've had Cake Song stuck in my head all weekend, and I've not been sad about it. I've got some other things drying out, so if there's some other mugs that like don't have the texture on them, that may put a few medallions on if they dry out while we're here. So now it's time for our handles. Where's my stamp? I've even made some of these like a bit more lacy. Like if there was one where the gap here was wider, I've put like lacings in them, and that was fun. The way I do this is I make the mugs, because I make my mugs pretty thin, and then I make a thin texture to put on top of that. So these mugs are a little bit thicker than some of the other ones just because of the texture. And there's a lot of ways I've seen people make textured mugs nowadays, but I don't think they're any thinner. Like there are some techniques where you lay out a thicker slab of clay, put your texture in it, whether it's like using a roller or a texture mat, and then like cutting out a rectangle, putting that on the wheel with a base, and then maybe flaring it out or shaping it a little bit. But and I thought of doing that if it would make the mug lighter, but I don't think it would. I just think it would make it a little bit wonky. Well, we're okay with a little bit of wonkiness in mugs. I do like to avoid it. You disagree, Minnie? Huh? So I have some green sweater mugs. That might be the only color I have left, but I really, really like the yellow. That's like the yellow that's over here. It looks really good over texture. And the pink as well. So I'm going to make some of these bright colors. Set these over here to dry, and I may show off some of the newer pieces we've made. I have we've been making cauldron mugs, so I made a cauldron yarn bowl because I thought that would be fun, because we have some kind of witchy phrases. So I just made a little bit of a thicker bead on the rim and gave it some feet. So I'm excited to see how that turns out, and I think I'll do these the same way I did the mugs. I'll put like a bright color on the inside and leave the outside black. So that's something that will be new at this show. I'll need to take a picture of after it's done. I was going to grab one of the sweater mugs and show you what the finished product looks like. Why, Minnie? What? Too much stuff in your way? But here's the sweater. So that's how the texture looks with a glaze on it. So this is a little extruder that you can get at most craft stores because it's actually like meant for polymer clays or, you know, small projects. And it comes with all kinds of different dyes. Got a little bit of slip right there, and a little bit extra. That will be a button. Sometimes this is where having a camera helps. Just see if it's all in the right spot or not. Okay. This is where we want the handle. You know, I kept forgetting that it was Easter this past weekend. So has anybody taken advantage of the day after Easter candy sales? What is the Easter candy that's always left over that nobody wants? Is it jelly beans? Valentine's Day, it's always the little conversation hearts. What's the least favorite Easter candy? Peeps, yes, especially all the different flavors. I saw Rice Krispie Treat Peeps. I'm like, what flavor is that? It's just marshmallow. So that it's like no flavor? There's no flavor to Rice Krispie Treats, none whatsoever. I thought you bought leftover Peeps to make into Rice Krispie Treats. Though I do enjoy watching the Peep creations, like I don't know what the actual name of it is, but like the places where there's contests to see what you can make out of Peeps. Like what diorama or spectacle or sculpture can you make out of tons of Peeps? Because there's so many different colors now. Dr. Pepper Peeps. I don't know how I feel about that. And I really like Dr. Pepper. I guess it would be like vanilla Dr. Pepper. Oh. I have never been a fan of Peeps. Just, I guess, stale marshmallows. That's all it is. My favorite is always a Reese peanut butter egg. White chocolate peanut butter egg is best. I actually haven't had too many of them this year. They're definitely designed for a child's palate, yeah. Excuse me, I had a drink, but I don't know what I did with it. It's probably still in the front of the studio somewhere. I do have water. I had a Pepsi somewhere. Spooky! Good afternoon. Yes, we just had a lot of stuff going on today. I was waiting for a repair person to come to the house, and of course they were late, but they told us what we kind of knew, that we need a new air conditioner at home. You know, fun stuff going into spring and summer in the South. Our compressor is bad. I actually forgot that it was Easter until like I knew of it during the week, but I just kept forgetting about it, you know. Didn't have any special plans because we had been gone the weekend before. So I kept forgetting there was a holiday coming up. Yes, I debated on even like being on today, but like I've got some stuff to do that I need to do, so I might as well stream it. The things are putting together some of these sweater mugs. I've got some little small dishes that I need to shape, that I've got some clay cut out for, because the little dishes that I have for my not air plant, but the succulent pots, the little ones, instead of being thrown because they're so small, I hand build them, and I've got to just shape those and set them out. So I'm gonna do that. Got just a few last minute things. Got some pieces drying out because it's been humid. It's even muggy in here, as I say. We are actually muggy in here, and not just because we are making drinking vessels. It's because it rained last night. And so I've got my sweater mug over here. That's what it's going to eventually look like, though I've got a green one already, so I'm probably going to do a lot of brighter colors with these, because like pink and yellow. I don't know if I'll do an orange or not. It took me a long time to sell the last orange one I made, but it does make for a striking display. Yeah, brighter is good for spring and summer. And the texture on the sweater mugs, like it breaks up some of the brighter colors, so it's not just so much, you know, in your face. It looks good on the texture. We got our buttons. And you can't forget the buttonholes. There we go. You know what? I forgot the handle. That I need the handle, don't I? That's a very important part of a mug. Here we go. Weekend after next. We got 2 weeks. So these are some of the last pieces that I'm putting together for this show. And once we get these put together and they start drying out, we are working on some of the other pieces that have finished drying that can go into a bisque. And so tomorrow I'll probably be working on a glaze. Because these are all wheel thrown mugs and then this texture that I wrap around them. So all the mugs start out the same. So as you can probably guess, with the Yarny mugs, the next show is the Yarny one. It's up in Maryland. Oh, nope, that's the one I wanted to skip. So this bisque is going to be a lot of mugs, but also a lot of yarn bowls. I finally got my part in to repair my kiln. So, because I have 3 main kilns in here that I use. I have one that's mostly used for the bisque firing, because it's actually the largest one I have, so it takes a lot longer to get up to a higher temperature, so I just use it for the lower temperature things, like the bisque fire. And then the two other kilns I used for glazing. But the Bisque kiln had some electrical parts that needed to be replaced.
Okay.
So I finally got the parts in so we could fix it and make it as good as new.
And it's so packed in here. The band sounds great. Double penny whistle track. How are you?
Ooh, this one's got a big belly. This one's bulging at the seams.
Thank you. Yeah, man. Did you went to the screening of Pull My Daisy? Did you enjoy it? Yeah. Yeah, I love that movie.
But it still
That's the second
looks
time
cute.
David Cameron Okay. All right, yeah.
5. I guess I've got 5 more to do because there was a total of 10.
Thank you. All right, people are letting me sneak through.
Jet Pinky, hello. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah. Well. Hear a little bit right now. They're kind of giving the drummers some low. People in it that there is right now.
Hey, Emma. Say, it looks like we're having fun here. How's the texture outside done? So, with a closer look at it here, you can see how thick that texture is. So we start with the regular throne mug, and then I lay out a slab where I have a 8 by 10 or 8.5 by 11 huge like rubber sheet with this texture on it, and I press that texture mat into the clay, and then cut it to size, and then we wrap it around the mug. And so I did this yesterday because you have to do this when the mug is still fairly soft, almost like too soft to be really handling. Put that on there and let it stiffen up a bit so that it doesn't crack. And then now I've got my itty bitty extruder that is like, you know, it's meant for like polymer clays and really small projects. This is one you can find at any like craft store. And I've made our kind of a cable that I have here that I'm going to put around the edge. With some slip.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
And then this is what it's going to look like afterwards. Set it back here where you can, right there where you can see it. Emma, yeah, you had the texture with rollers or stencil and rolling pins. Yes, over here. And I was saying earlier, like I do this because I'm throwing the mugs fairly thin and then adding the texture maybe about the same thickness. I've seen a lot of people like roll out a thicker slab on, you know, flat, make a rectangle out of it and then put that on the wheel and then shape it, throw it a little bit. It's like where it's a hand building and throwing together. But I'm not sure that would make these any lighter. It seems like you still have to start with a pretty thick piece of clay to do that, to get it all to stand up. But because these mugs, they are a little bit thicker than my standard mugs because they have extra clay on them. But they still don't weigh all that much. Stencils and tile adhesive is a good way to add texture to canvases as well as for paintings. Yes. Tile adhesive, or like plaster, like a spackle. I remember doing that. Harder to knock over. There you go. Gotta make some buttons. And put on the handle. And there we go, we have another splatter mug. Where did it go? Never to be seen again. It's in the underworld. But this is also a good way to make a lot of fun textures. This is how, like, if I needed ever to make like a hairy texture, I would make a lot of these little bitty coils. I think that's how I did a Highland cow once. I've made one Highland cow bowl as a custom order, and after that I said never again with all the hairy texture. It's cute. They have larger extruders used for cake decorating. Yes, I've seen those. And then, of course, the extruder that I make the handles with is, mounted to the wall, and it has like tons of big shapes. So if I wanted larger things, I would use that, but I might have one of the cake decorator ones around here. Is it one that's kind of the size of a caulk gun? Because I also have like piping bags for there's a whole lot of like crossover with cake decorating and pottery, a great deal. And the sweater mugs still get the cat stamp of approval. Did everyone properly celebrate Crazy Cat Lady Day this weekend? That was Saturday. Minnie was up on the cat tower. I don't know where she is now. And I guess Mir has gotten bored with us back here. I'm gonna have to just take the cat bed down if nobody's gonna lay in it. All right, 3 more of these. Well, there she is. Where was she? She followed me over here. I guess she was under the table. Come on, Minnie. It is not yet treat time. That's what she's doing. She's looking back at me. We've started I've given them a different type of food because we, like, Kiba was on prescription food, and so, you know, it was expensive, and we had it delivered, and we finally had gone through all of that, and so I just started getting them regular, like, Iams stuff, and they're eating so much of it. Like, I guess they didn't like the other prescription food, so they didn't go through it that fast, but they're eating the stuff like it's Fruit Loops, so, like, maybe I should go back to the expensive stuff? I don't know. To the point that we're asking each other in here, like, have they been fed yet? Have they been fed, or are they? No, they're just eating it all as soon as we put it out. Feed Mir, he's got a lot of growing to do. Don't starve that poor baby. Don't worry, if there is like the smallest, tiniest rattle of plastic or of a bag or even, you know, anything that sounds remotely like it might possibly be food, like, he is immediately there. Like, I bet. It's like, do I have anything back here? I don't even know where he is. Rattle paper. If I do that, he's gonna be asleep somewhere. Excuse me, fancy textures, yeah. So this is what we're going for. Our sweater texture, our sweater mugs. Now, you can see how much things shrink when you put them right next to each other like that. And this, what I'm making with this tool is the cable texture on the top to kind of finish it off. Hey, Minnie. Sure, this one is really soft. I'm actually making an indentation with my thumb. Minnie's got to go lick the clay. Is everything tasting all right today? Mm-hmm. What we doing? Did I mess up your hammock? There we go. I put something in your hammock. I think Minnie heard us talking about food. Yeah, right now Mir does eat everything in sight, and I think all the cats go through that stage, especially him since he was, an outside cat. But some of our cats at home, like the one who was the most ravenous, bottomless pit, he's like 3 years old now, and he's finally settled down. Whether it means he's just grown older and so he's not starving all the time, or he's realized there's always going to be food there. He's become a very picky eater, where he used to just inhale everything put before him and everyone else is around him. Colleen, hey, thank you for the resub and good afternoon. There's Minnie. We'll put some texture on our sweaters here. On our buttons. Put our buttons on our sweater mugs. A little bit hammock time. I was right. I put something in the hammock, so she refused to get in it until I emptied it out. There we go. I tried to move the cat tower over here so that she could lay in her hammock and it could be seen on stream, but she refused to touch it until I moved the cat tower exactly back into this position. She is, and she's still so little. She can compact herself very well. So there is one sweater mug, and then again, this is the final version, and you can see how much they shrink. This is the same size mug. This is how it looks after it's been fired. This is what holds 20 ounces, but you can see how the glaze breaks over that texture. Even though it's not like a huge, like deep texture, it just breaks so nicely. The green is one of my favorite glazes to do that with, but I think this time I'm going to do some of the brighter colors. Definitely pink and yellow and red. I don't know if I'll do orange. Orange looks good, but it doesn't sell all that well. Though if I don't do an orange, then somebody's going to come up to me, and that's going to be the first thing they ask for is orange. So, probably just need to go ahead and make one. Where's the thingy? Here it is. Oops. I'm really surprised Mir is not back here with this. I think he's asleep somewhere because as much grief as he gives me when I'm working on my slab roller, which is how I make the flat textures and the medallions, he like wants to be there and wants to figure out what I'm doing. And so the amount of times I had to like smooth out the sweater texture to smooth over paw prints, like he was really getting on my nerves because it wasn't an impression deep enough that it actually looked like a paw print. It was just enough to squish everything. So I don't have paw print sweater mugs. I think I've got this one and then maybe one more because I have 10 of these. Get our handle on here. The handles are extruded just like I'm making this cable texture. It's just a much larger extruder. And let's not forget the most important step here of anything is the paw print stamp. Put a little bit of slip on the buttons. Oop. Come on now. And buttonholes. You know, I'm not going for realism at all here. I'm just going for pattern and a bit of whimsy. Here we go. You know what? I think I managed to miss my apron altogether and just smeared clay all over my new cake shirt. It's purple. I had to get it. We got to go to a cake concert this weekend because it finally did not rain for once. Because it was an outdoor concert. We are old, so we waited to see if it was going to rain before we went. All right, where's my last one? We did not end up with a tree. I had forgotten, if I ever knew, that at cake concerts they give away a tree at every show. As a gesture to help save the planet. You've never seen a group of an audience get so excited about a tree? But they've been doing it for so many years. On their website, they have a place where you can go see people posting pictures of the trees they've gotten and proof that they planted them. So I've had cake songs stuck in my head all weekend, and you know what? I don't mind at all. Yes. A girl with eyes that burn like cigarettes. That is one of the songs. Did they play that one? They did not play Italian Leather Sofa. No, they played Short Skirt Long Jacket. They did. They did not play Italian Leather Sofa, but they played Sheep Goat. They played Goats. They did. See, the last time we were going, we had tickets to go to this concert like 2 years ago, and that's when we wrecked on the way there. Like somebody like rear-ended us, and so we didn't get to go. Hey, come here. Meeny meeny. It's like she might have left me a footprint. So like we were looking at some of the other events that are happening this year, different musical events, and there's always a lot of really good stuff going on at the Symphony. And I'm trying to, I don't know if we like are in town for all of them, but some of the things that are happening is Bugs Bunny at the symphony. I think that would be fun. Because they do a lot of, like, you know, movies, showing movies where the symphony orchestra plays the soundtrack. See ya. And I think I would like to see some Looney Tunes accompanied by a symphony orchestra. Another one is Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think that would be a very good one. I've seen the first Harry Potter, and I've seen Fantasia at the orchestra. All right, I think that's our last sweater. So let me put this over here. And then one thing I need to do, I need to make some little dishes for my my plant pots. And also, what do you think of this? I've made a new yarn bowl based on how popular my cauldron mugs are, and I made some cauldron yarn bowls. And if I thought about it ahead of time, like I've got to look and see if I have any like handles. But wouldn't it be fun to have like a handle sticking out the top that just kind of hangs down because it's a cauldron, and being able to carry it? So if I find some fun handles, I may do that. But or I thought about putting some little like handles on the side. Feed, thank you for the follow. But these are my little air plant pots, and I need little dishes to go underneath. And so I've been just hand building them. And one way I do that is with make a little slab, and this one does have a cat paw print in it. Can you see it? Wait, wrong way. You see his little paw print there? And so I've got this cut out. Oh, you think that would make getting the yarn in and out a pain? You have one with a handle and you hate it, really? Like, I wasn't thinking it would be permanent. I was thinking it would hang over the side. But you think that gets in the way? Good call. And see, I'm thinking from a purely just aesthetic viewpoint. Like, I think it would look fun, but then I will take that into consideration. Using a thin plastic bag, like, smooths out the edges without you having to use a lot of water. And so I've been doing that. And then, oh, did I not bring the thing back here? I need to go get the thing. I've got a cork that I use to shape these with. And there's my drink. I walked too close to the cat treats. Minnie's now mad at me. Did you hear that demanding meow? The thing. Also, the foam. Oh, no, don't go down in there. Where all my tools go underneath the wheel. And we are going to... Is that not what I used to shape them with? I thought it was, but that's not big enough. What did I used to shape them with? I mean, that's basically it. I want a little like dish that has raised edges a little bit, just something shallow. Just a little dish to catch the water underneath. But is there something wider than that? It's just hindering the opening. Okay, yeah, because it's something to snag on. That's a good point. That is a good point. All right, well, this one, if it doesn't turn out right, then it'll be my sacrificial piece. I'm gonna see what this looks like. That is... Did I use the wrong side to cut this thing out with? No, it needs to be something a little bit smaller than that. Okay, what did I used to use? See, I thought I had everything together, but I don't. Got so many things around here that I can use for various objects. Like, there's like so many just made up tools that I have. That works. That is actually a lot better. Okay. Like there are very few like specific, like you have to use this special tool to make things in pottery. A lot of times it's just whatever you have at hand. Glitch Witch, hello. Then I'm just going to set this aside. I might make a couple of these. I might smooth a couple of them out. Some people use saran wrap when smoothing out the edges, and if I was making something, like if I had a cookie cutter like big enough for these, which these are a little bit bigger than my largest one, like I could put down this piece of plastic, cut this round shape out, and then the edges would be, if I cut it over the plastic, the edges would be auto smoothed. So for smaller items, it really is a good idea to use plastic to when you're cutting them out. And it keeps the edges of your cookie cutter or whatever it is from sticking to the clay. And then this is like egg crate foam, and I see a lot of people using actual like upholstery foam, which is a bit denser. But this works good too. See if I'm mostly centered. And then give it a bit of a shape, and then we'll adjust it. And this is a good way. This is how I make some of the little Kentucky dishes. Anything that's kind of like an odd shape that you want to make that's kind of shallow, it's this is a good way to make a little small dish or form. And this is really, really good for kids' projects, because we have all kinds of different like cookie cutters and different shapes we can cut out and then make like I have a whole box of different shapes. I've made flat shapes out of insulation foam, and so you give this to the kids and have them like cut out like a ½ inch around it. We smooth things out, and they can make a little shallow dish out of it, whatever shape it is. I got, dogs and cats and dinosaurs. Glitch Witch, what do you mean somebody reaches out? What are we talking about? Hey, buddy. See, he shows up. Oh, okay. Yeah, somebody asked about it. He's thinking about going to DragonCon. Yeah, as a like as an artist, or as in just attending it. DragonCon is probably my favorite fandom con. Like Gen Con and Origins are more for gaming, and I like those. But having gone now to other fandom cons, like DragonCon was the only one I went to for a while, but now seeing what some of the other ones are, like, I appreciate DragonCon more. What? Come on. There's just so much more to do at DragonCon. What you doing? He's like, what you doing? Mm-hmm. You know, you are much better at not mooning the camera. There's your happy face. He wants to give it his paw of approval. Yeah, no, there's several of these pieces here that have some paw prints on them. We'll just see if they make the final cut. He definitely does not care where he walks. He will step into anything. He does not have dainty little princess feet. Here. Oh, paying for a room, yeah. 'Cause you can volunteer for DragonCon, but they don't pay anything like a room. You can volunteer and get a free badge, and that is a very good program, but they don't do anything for housing. So that's all I know to tell you. I don't know, like, so many of the vendors are not huge. You know, they're like us. They're small businesses. Because for a couple of years, me and Daniel both volunteered at DragonCon. And like I say, it's been probably 10 years ago was like the last time we went. But the last couple of years we went, we volunteered. I volunteered at the game room, and Daniel was tech ops. And it was nice. It was, you know, a couple hours a day doing something. So I might be able, well, So I might be able to give you contacts for volunteering, but it would be 10-year-old information. So you might have to just go through the website and see. There are Dragon Con Facebook groups, and you might also like tell them to look there and see, like do some searches to see if people are looking for help like that, and see what they're offering. But yeah, I volunteered at Gen Con one year too, and that was more where you get more almost bang for your buck, because like if you go, beforehand, if you go in all in, then usually some of the game companies will get a couple rooms for all their volunteers. Oh, now you've come to help, huh? Now you've come to help. Yeah, no, thanks for letting me know. Or are we stuck together? Well, did anybody do anything special for Easter? I forgot it was Easter. We've been so busy with everything, I forgot it. Multiple times I forgot. Oh yeah, it's Easter this weekend. Oh yeah, it's Easter today. So we didn't do anything. We did not do anything special for Zombie Jesus Day. Rattly plastic. Here's you some rattly plastic. I'm going to move this stuff out of your way before you break anything. Oh. Come on through. Put those out of your way, so now you got to go figure out where they are and what was wrong with them. Oh, crazy cat lady, I'm sorry your grandma's in the hospital. Y'all went to visit her, but then borrowed her house. Had a nice dinner there, yeah. see, this one was not quite centered. Let's see if I can fix that a bit. Wonder if the rattly plastic is his summoning ritual. I wonder where he is. He does like the rattly plastic. Like, I've got some orders for some pie plates, and that's one of the few things that I do have to cover up for a while and make sure that they don't dry out too quickly. And I'm like, I don't know that I've really made pie plates since he's been here with us, and I wonder like how catastrophic that's going to be. You know, I didn't intend the pun at first, but it's there, so we're going with it. I think we're going to have to do some test runs with a few pie plates to see how quickly he tries to squish them, see how long they survive. See if maybe he can get it out of his system. All right, how many of these do I actually have? So it's 16. I need at least like 25 of these. Because I've got several of these that are orders, but then I made some for our show as well. Let's see how these go. I think this is what I need the, I was going to use the cork for. Because they're just a little bit wider. All right. This is probably one of the oldest techniques of making something, is just pressing it into the clay. Pressing the shape in. And I'm going to see if this is too wide, because there's some very, there's some of these bowls that have gotten a bit too wide on the bottom. That's why I needed to specifically make some wider pieces. I'm going to see what this looks like. I think that might be too much. Let's go with this side. There, that one's a little bit better. I think I like that better. Because the clay is not going to shrink all that much between now and the bisque firing, so usually you can kind of measure things and before they've been glaze fired, and the size is going to be pretty good. It's not going to be that much movement. It's in the glaze firing when a lot of the mass is lost. Okay. There we go. See, this is one of those projects, like the sweater mugs, and then making all these little things. I'm like, oh, it won't take me all that long. It'll be a really quick thing. Then like an hour and a half later, I'm still here putting these things together. Sorry if I keep hitting the camera and causing earthquakes. I'm not usually reaching over to this side to bring things into the camera view. And these are the dishes that are going to go underneath the plant pots, the punny plant pots. Nope, wrong one. Okay, we'll do 2 more. Oh, look, there's the paw prints. See them? I don't know if they're all that distinct, but there's a paw print, and then we've got some little toe beans right here. That's where Mir helped. They are Mir's footprints. He's so helpful, isn't he? Yes. And there's his little toe beans. There is some of the cat yarn bowls that we have that he walked through, so some of them, they were animal bowls, and so I purposely made them the cat yarn bowls so that, to see if his paw prints will show up when they're fired. Alright, I think that's a pretty good amount. I think that's all I'm gonna need. But I'll save these in case I do need to make more. Minnie's over here looking at me like, don't you think it's awfully close to treat time? Want to see if these other mugs have dried out. They're still thinking about it. Still very happy about this. I've got one more of these I can do. This is so what phrase should I put on a cauldron yarn bowl? I've got I guess I could put one of the Harry Potter ones on here, but so we have the regular yarn bowl on one side. We've got cauldron feet, but we have decided not to put a handle on it because that might snag some things on the inside. I thought about putting like a fun handle on the top with just like holes in the side so something you could hang it or just, you know, hold it, or just for, thought it would look visually pleasing, but the crazy cat lady said that was it actually might snag on the yarn, so not going to do that. But this one said 100% that witch. And then, which is one of the cauldron ones I do, cauldron mugs that I do. I also have, I did one with the triple moon goddess graphic, and I think that looks pretty good. What else do I have for cauldron mugs? I have them around here somewhere. They were drying out anyway. Where did they go? Oh yeah, this one was Polyjuice, yeah. So that was another one I did. I have one that says Witch's Brew, but that is I think that fits better on a mug. Kind of like the Polyjuice potion. I think it fits better on a mug. Frogs. Ooh. Frog's breath. When you take something out you call it frogging. Ooh. I do have the medallion that says Frog's breath on it for the canisters that I do for Nightmare Before Christmas. That's a good idea. But I don't think I have time to work it up for this one, but I'll keep that in mind for the future. What are some of the other ones I have? I have I do Witch's Brew, I do Magical Beans. Again, these are a lot of them are beverage related. Just gonna pull up pictures. What is something else that could go on a cauldron? For the Harry Potter ones, I could do Polyjuice Potion, or I could do, like, the yarn chooses the knitter. I should just put something like boil, boil, toil, and trouble. But it's kind of late to be coming up with something brand new right now. Magic wand. What about Poor Unfortunate Souls? Wonder, you think that one would be okay for a yarn bowl? That one has been one of the more popular of the potion bottles and the potion potion mugs. I might do that because I have one more I could do. I wanted to come up with something that says like I practice stitchcraft instead of witchcraft, but it's not together in time. You know what would also be kind of cute on there would be the skull and crossbones, the pirate yarn, because it could also be kind of like for poison. Skull and crossbones, poison. See, so many of them are beverage related. I have like one of the gaming ones that says Tears of My Enemies that like would be fun on a cauldron. You like the poison one, the because it's a skull with crossed needles. I could make one the knitting needle and one like a crochet hook, and then let's see. I'm gonna put this up before I break it because it's already been cleaned up. So we've got quite a few things that are already cleaned up, like these are not. But I was going to see if I had a regular sponge that I could use to scrub things with, and then I need one of my blue scrubbies. Which I may have to get some more of. And I think the pug mill ate one of them. Here's one. The bowl of requirement. So these are the yarn bowls. This one is completely air dried, and now I'm going to clean it up to get it ready for the bisque firing. And when I make these, I throw them and then I cut out the yarn bowl hook when it's like not quite leather hard. And then I leave the hook in there to try to help retain the shape of the bowl. And this is always kind of the tricky part because you want to get this out of here without breaking it. And this is where, like, if I'm going to break something, 90% of the time that's where it's going to happen. That one came out. And so you can see that these have like really sharp edges right now, and you do not want to leave it like that because these are yarn bowls. And you don't want to cut the yarn because with the clay, like, it may not feel that sharp right now, but if you don't do anything to it and then you glaze it, that's going to be sharp. It's going to be covered in glass. It's going to be like razor sharp. Hey, Cynthia. Crafting Sam, that's how you do it. Yes. And if you're cutting the yarn bowl hook when it's like really soft, you kind of want to pull it out a little bit so it doesn't stick again. So like a soft leather hard will let you cut through the clay easier, but also maybe not stick as much, where like if it's a drier leather hard, you're going to have to like, it's going to be harder to cut through, but it'll definitely will not stick. So I dropped that one in there to kind of clean it off. Oh, this should come off pretty easy. So I use a sponge to clean up the clay because I'm using a stoneware clay, but it's a very smooth stoneware. So all I have to do to clean this up is just wipe it down with a sponge. That will smooth it out. If you're using a textured stoneware, then you'll need to use something with a bit more of abrasion, or just not use just a sponge and water, because then all you're going to do is kind of reveal all the grit and make it a very grainy piece. This is a blue scrubby, so it's it's not steel wool, but it's something like that you find at a grocery store or anywhere in like the washing dishes section, the dishwashing aisle. And it works really well because it doesn't leave any like metallic residue behind, but it's just enough of a texture that you can very lightly scrub down some of the sharper spots and take away a lot of material without putting a lot of pressure on delicate areas. And sometimes if you're using a textured clay body, going over the piece with a dry version of this can really knock off some of the like sandy bits. So let's see. So when I do this, I kind of hold it to myself so I'm not like bothering the rim at all, and I'm not putting a ton of pressure on this. I'm just letting the water and the scrubby do the work. And smoothing that down. There we go, and a little bit around that hole, and then go over it with the regular sponge just to get any of the leftover kind of clay texture off of there, because any texture left behind is going to be highlighted by a glaze. And for this, it's not necessarily an aesthetic reason that I'm wanting to have everything smooth. It is a very functional, practical reason, because I don't want there to be anything that might snag the yarn. There's got to be a Potter pun or spell about knitting somewhere. There is not. So with and all of the lore and everything, they're like Mrs. Weasley talks about knitting, a knitting spell, but they never say what it is. The closest thing is like I have a graphic that says Master has knitted Dobby a sock, but the one that I was thinking of, there was like the cauldron. I was wanting it to be kind of like a cauldron themed, not just knitting. And so this one is mostly done. I've got some pieces here that I need to get off the bottom. Some chunks that have stuck to the bottom. There we go. And when I'm holding this, I am not holding it by the rim at all. I'm holding it like my fingers are at the bottom. It's just kind of resting in my hand. Because this is, it's just air-dried clay. There's really nothing special holding this together. So you've got to be really, really gentle with it. Like in the kiln, I will stack them 3 high, but no more than that. There's a knitting charm. But see, the incantation is unknown. how long does the clay take to air dry? It depends on the weather. That's what it depends on more than anything else. Like, it rained last night, so things that I was working on yesterday, some of them I left completely out to dry, and there's was no change. Like they are almost exactly the same level of hydration as they were when I left yesterday. So when it's humid, it takes forever. But when it's dry, like during the winter, sometimes things can dry out in just a few hours. So there really is a huge gap. And it depends on it. So you've got to. It can be different every day. And I get in trouble with that because I'll get into thinking, oh well, I've got plenty of time because it's humid outside. It was humid yesterday. I've got all day to work on these. No, it's not humid today. I've only got a few hours. I've got to cover them up. Megan, hey, thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. We're talking about how long things take to dry out and how, that can vary from week to week when you have weather that changes from day to day. But if it's like an average day, it takes a couple of days. On average, I would rather it take a couple of days than a couple of hours, because what you run into with that is the top and the rim are going to dry out first because they're getting the most airflow, and then the bottom is not going to dry out very fast, and that's what causes cracks. You can dry things out really quickly if it's even. If everything's drying out evenly. It's where it's when one side dries quicker than the other, where things warp a lot and you get cracks, especially the wider the base. Mugs are pretty forgiving, but on a pie plate or something where the base is much wider than the rim, if that rim dries out, it's just going to pull the base apart, and that's what can cause S cracks. This stuff's stuck on here. I need a knife. It's better for this than the metal rib of death. I'm gonna slip here in a minute and slice my finger. Here we go. Doesn't stop me from doing it, I just kept on. But yeah, good afternoon everybody. Megan, if you're still here, what were you working on? Did you see the sweater mug from earlier? So I was actually putting these together earlier. Come on, Manny. Come on. So this is what I was working on earlier, and this is the emerald green sweater mug, and they're going to be all different solid colors. That in your way? So that was a pretty mug. Yeah, I'm happy with how they turn out. They are a pain in the butt, but they do look nice. Just making sure everything is smoothed down. Okay, that's good. All right, and this is one, like you can customize any of the yarn bowls as well as the mugs. And this one, let me see if I've got my other sponge. It says, meddle not in the affairs of dragons, for you are crunchy and taste good with ketchup. Words to live by. But there's a bit of a texture on here, so I'm gonna wipe that off. Smooth it down a little bit, and it's a very it's a special sponge because like all the different sponges, you know, depending on the type of rubber they're made out of, they may leave a different texture behind, or some may be more absorbent than others. Like this is a horrific throwing sponge. It doesn't absorb water very well at all, but it's a smoothing finishing sponge, so it will smooth out slight textures. So it's not as coarse of a surface. Oh, there you are. Here she is. But it's kind of hard to see the text because it's the shadows aren't that, there's not that much contrast. But meddle not in the affairs of dragons. You are crunchy and taste good with ketchup. Mm-hmm. But it is 5:30. You could clean up a couple of more mugs. Or I could sit here and pet a cat. Minnie's like, it is time for treats. She swatted at me. She's like, leave me alone. I gave her some catnip up there. We gave Mir catnip for the first time, and he just wallowed in it forever. Mm-hmm. What? Whoa. Probably don't need to bleed, especially not on my hands. Megan, hey, welcome. Just in time to see me bleed. What were you working on today? She's spicy. She's like, it is way past treat time. Surprised it's not nap time. Miniatures? What type of miniatures? Let me get another bowl. Oh dear, I'm snagged on something. What am I snagged on? Okay, there we go. I'm clear. Gotta be careful. My microphone cord got snagged on something. Oh, like the little resin kits you can buy. Okay. I didn't know if you were talking like gaming miniatures or if you were like crocheting tiny things. Let's see. There we go. So this is how I clean up some of the yarn bowls. This one is just going to be a plain one. It's like that's, you can see it in the camera, but I feel things moving over here. So I'm like, what's going on? You do have tiny things you want to crochet, but not today. What was it? Was it Colleen? Did you make some stuff one time where you said you had to use like little bitty needles to as crochet as knitting needles, like actual sewing needles as knitting needles to make some really tiny things as a challenge? So tomorrow, like, we'll get something in the kiln tonight, and then tomorrow I'll probably be glazing, because we've already had one kiln load of Bisque come through, and then cleaning up a lot of this stuff. We'll be waiting on some of it to dry out, but we'll be probably got like at least 2 more Bisque firings to do. And then several glazes, so. We've been filling in the gaps of our inventory for some of the mugs that we sold at the last show, and then making some new things like the yarn bowls. She's like, I'm busy cleaning my foot. I let her outside a little bit today because I had to, like, we have our raku kiln outside, and in the rain last night, like, apparently it blew the tarp off, so we were like putting it back on and just instead of trying to keep the cats inside, I just let them out for a bit, so they got to run around in the muddy rain for a bit. Thought that was a good idea, just to keep them from, thought it might deter them from going off too far. So she got her feet wet. I feel like I should get out of the way because she is cute. Oh, now it's nap time, huh? You can't see it, but her like little feet are just up in the air. Wonder if you can see it over here. You can just see her feet up in the air. That is her happy spot. And she will fall asleep up there. Is she as soft as she looks? Yes, she has the softest fur of any cat, and she's the only gray cat I've ever had. So, and I've noticed other like cats with gray fur have just as soft as fur as her. It's like really thick, but just like so soft. Like Mir's fur is like longer, but it's not that soft. No, she is almost like plush. And she still has her winter coat on, so she'll thin out a little bit. Yeah, so I don't know what it is about cats that have gray fur that makes it so much more plush. Yes. And she's chatty too. Right there, okay. All right, I'm seeing who else is on right now. Though, if she would stay up there and just play, like, I think that would be the perfect stream. Y'all wouldn't even need me for anything. All right, since I'm was working on some yarn bowls, I think we're gonna go see crochet. And I can't tell what we're working on, so we'll have to go see. But they're making pieces and parts for something. So guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. We didn't get started till a little bit later today, but I'll be back tomorrow and we'll be doing probably or hopefully a full day of glazing, and that means we'll also have some kiln reveals to happen later in the week. So if I don't see you again, have a good week, but thank you so much for stopping by, and y'all have a good evening. Here we go. We're gonna go see what Crochet is working on.